Good morning, everyone. Welcome to ChartRoom. My name is Jay Sung. Everything in today's video is never financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. Trading the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially be aware against high leverage trading. All right. We're going to start with USDT.D. USDT.D is often used to help us understand what's happening in the entire crypto market. In this sense, we can see excerpt USDT.D showing signs of health in these areas. One of the two challenges areas we were looking at is approximately on this blue line, and we were also looking at the resistances that were holding for many weeks, acting like resistances and weakness areas, like such as these. When this chart goes down, cryptos go up, but when it comes up, your cryptos go down. We had a delay territory after that weakness here in these days, which is going to be around the end of September. And the last move that happened was a large move up after the last challenge to these areas, 4.2%, the area we've been talking about for a long time. Look for this on the weekly chart. All right, our last breakout was when I was on vacation. The markets almost always dump when I'm on vacation or have some kind of big movement when I'm on vacation. Generally, they dump. House told me it was even more than 5 times over the past few years. He said, he was laughing, saying we need to have a chart about when I go on vacation. I will be going on vacation and near Thanksgiving. I'll give you the exact dates when I go. 4.53 was our breakout area for USDT.D. When price broke up, it hit one of our rain resistant areas, 5.57 exactly. We've had this number for quite some time in the sky, and we came up and hit that number and came all the way back down to our normal target, which was 4.97 to 4.88, and also the sword cut area 4.79, 4.6. Because of these things, it's these areas where I'm primarily expecting to had hit first. We hit here, came all the way back down to here. That's where all that selling pressure back on the tether came back in, and we had a mild recovery. But in the context of where we're sitting at this old sword cut, we may be able to build up here. Primarily, one of the clues that is giving us that we are going to start moving into the positive is the larger downtrends start being broken. When price starts sitting on those larger downtrends, those are key areas to let us know it's likely that we're going to be moving in the opposite direction, because now all of those old resistance become tops. And that's one of the clues that lets us know it's possible we need to be playing in the upper regions more. In this case, since we got solid closes on the weekly charts of USDT.D, that here we are looking for these moves up into these areas. So I did circle our area that we were hit and that we were looking to come to. Now I'm not looking for this to be a crash. I know a lot of people say, oh, this is the crash. I'm looking for prices to gravitate to these areas, but that's not what I call a crash. Now this is a flash crash. This is a flash crash event. This is a moment you see a lot of the cryptos came down to very lows and came right back up to other areas like that. But you need to be aware, because now we're sitting on top of these old resistances that start playing out in these days. In these days, we start seeing the larger stories ensue. One of them on the weekly chart is the parabolic that is forming in these areas. We can see that we were having strong pressure in these areas, but we also had a good look at what's supposed to happen. Because the supply at the upper challenge areas has not been absorbed, and this is what we gave you guys, and I was doing this on Monday to show you guys, because it has not been absorbed, but the volume is increased, and especially because it's increased a lot, and it has a pattern of this increase, that means that we're not done with the upper areas. We need to be actually looking for the real resistances to come in here if we're going to stop playing. At any case, it's telling us the upper move isn't as done as much as the lower move isn't done. Although the lower move is not in play because of the healths that are coming into this crypto. This is going to be a delay. This is going to be a health. This is a delay. Sitting on here becomes back a health. Here becomes the next health. And the next health after this is above and closes above this line. If we get closes above there, that lets us know that we should definitely be playing here. But already the proof is in the pudding. The volume is telling us as of Monday, we need to be looking for this to move higher. And if this moves higher, again, your cryptos move lower. So we understand that the market should be gravitating lower. Of the challenges at the lower sides, they are moving up. But right now, the more powerful one is where the action is on the higher side. So combine it with the health, it looks like this is where we should be playing, and that's why I told everybody that I think we need to be bearish a little bit longer for the markets. Now, again, this for me, this is not a crash. I'm not looking for prices to hit zero or things like that. That's not that crash, but a down move, absolutely. A down move, absolutely, based on what we see in the data. We also see, based on USDT.D, a large parabolic that is forming that should help give us resistances somewhere in these regions. We did it a little bit more properly, and it gave us a little bit more wiggle room up in the top. We can see that we had a little bit more weeks that we can go. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more weeks before we need another health. Another health would trigger when we're above that purple line, and that's around 4.97 to 4.98. All of you guys have that numbers here. Also, you need to know that I'm expecting the 3.52 sometime in the future when all of the upper events are done. I'm not discounting that area for the down here at 3.7 near this star right there. That big star right there is where I believe that prices are going to hit for USDT.D in those days. All right, so now let's go a little bit further, and I will show you a few other things. Based on our new RSI price-based analysis, we can see that there should have been tops here and tops here. Okay, and we do classes on these on Wednesdays primarily, and we're implementing our new sword method 7.0 series in our when you show up on Saturdays or Mondays in our sessions. But in this, we can see that we're far away from a top currently right now. So even of the tops that are hit, there's still wriggle room, again, more room for us to come into upper regions more safely. So a lot of the evidence is pointing that we have reasons to play in higher regions based on the data that I see, in my opinion. All right, now these events down at 3.52 are not triggered. They do not trigger until we beat 4.20 underneath 4.20. I believe, in my opinion, that once we get down there, we're going to have strong indications that will be fulfilled. I had a vision that we curve up at one of these areas. It's either the top one or the bottom one, but I really think it's this area based on my data. We're going to curve up only, and then there's another area where I saw in a dream we were underneath these areas, underneath that pink line sometime down here, and I think that's going to be where the big market crashes. The big crash that I'm expecting, the one I saw in visions, prophetic, things like that, that's that. Other than that, I think currently these are just things like shakeouts. These are things like more moves, but none of them are unprecedented, because we can see most of them, the moves, these are the normal moves that we've had in the past. These are not areas we have not been to in the past. They're just very scary for a lot of people to experience. Again, most of this was on Monday, and then I'm going to be showing you guys again. So these are the three big areas where I'm currently expecting 3.52, 2.9 to 5 to 2.77, and 5.34 to 5.25. Because of this flow of price and getting closes in here, provided we get some closes above on the weekly chart, it looks like we still should be gravitating to these areas with more clarity, more certainty. I believe we need to hit some of these before challenging the low side, and that's going to give us a much bigger oscillation, but also a more clear oscillation. I believe we're going to be able to see clearly this up move, but those are my big three targets that I believe that we need to be looking for. If you were only drawing one thing, you're saying, Jay Song, I don't know how to draw this complicated chart that maybe you're seeing. it looks crazy to me. Sure, just block out these areas with the little rectangle. Again, the numbers are 5.34, 5.25, somewhere around there is where I believe we're getting, and then the 3.52 area right here, 3.78, 3.52, and primarily 2.95 and 2.77. So just write those down, and you guys can take a quick screenshot, but that's where my full analysis is from our previous updates on USDT.D. All right, with that said, let's look at USDT.D as of today. I am pulling it up right now. We can see where we're at in the story. We can see first from the weekly chart that we are above this area, and there's going to be another weekly close that's going to be coming up this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can see that it looks like we're going to get some kind of candle close here. So if provided tomorrow is not very bullish in the market, you'll see that would return back to being underneath there, and then we would want to still be looking at these areas. But as it is, the daily chart is also still already telling us we're getting above here, and the weekly chart is still telling us we're here. It looks like we hit our target. Oh my gosh, we already hit our target again. Okay. Maybe we did. Yep, we did. Okay. I got to take that back. We already hit it. So this is where we're looking to get. This is going to be the next area we're looking to hit. And now let's look for some more closes on what we're expecting. All right. Signs of cracking October 13th. Other evidence and volume increases. Increased signal that 4.70, 4.6 will be broken to the top side. Okay. Yeah. This is negative for cryptocurrency markets. In short, there's a close somewhere negative. Signals should be playing here longer, and signals that we should be playing here longer. Weekly view does not show it's been broken, but the volume for the week indicates that price should gravitate there, and eventually a breakout above this area. All right, so now I'm going to show you one more thing on where we're going to be looking. I'm watching that parabolic based on all of this. So this close, and I'll give you the exact number, will be an important close and that you guys can pay attention to. I believe it's an important close. The number will be here. Does anybody have any other questions for me? The number is 5%. Get above 5% USDT.D, that's a bearish thing. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll do a little call out so you guys have a record of my analysis. Today is October 18th, 2025. A significant, all right, a significant close above 5%, something like this, that would be significant, should indicate more bearish markets. Okay. I should say bearish crypto markets and bearish Bitcoin. Okay. A lot of this chart indicates what happens on Bitcoin. Anyone questions else? Going once, going twice. All right. Okay. All right, let's move on. That's an important chart. I'll look at your cryptos now.
There's questions in the chat.
Oh, is there? Okay, thank you. All right, so crash is happening. For short term, yeah, it's not crash. In my opinion, I don't think this is the crash. This is not the crash. I think crash is going to happen. I think that's a health, but it's not the end of the world. I think it needs I think it's going to definitely tell us about the oscillation here at 6 point something. I think that if we're above 7, that's definitely probably going to be a crash because there's nothing else. The foundational area tells us how the move is happening. Let me hide my line so you guys can just quickly see. If we're in a down move, it's quite simple. Any up move or down move gives us so much information. Let me give you an example. If this goes up like this, all right, we look at the bottom that we have, and I'm just going to use this one. It tells us a big chunk of where the market is going and where those bottoms start coming in. So real heavy weaknesses don't start to here. And that's, in this case, when this goes down, it'd be very bullish for the markets. You still got time. A lot of cryptos, if you want to examine what they're really going to do, look how they started. They're gonna tell you almost everything you need to know. In this case, the down move starts like this, and it tells us when the down move's over. The whole larger down move is not until we get here. It's quite simple, and you can wick match, and it's somewhere in this range. Okay, which means you could really go here, and it's still just normal. Does that make sense? People who think that we're crashing, it's because you think that because you're only looking at it very closely. But other than that, these are just still where we've been before. It's not nothing new. Price can easily go to these areas and play, and then make a decision later if it wanted to. It could make a decision now. I don't think this is in the cards. As I've let you guys know for the last several weeks, I don't think this one is in the play just yet, that weakness. Just look at my videos. It's the same message I tell you. It's not in play right now. Right now, it doesn't appear it's supposed to be in play, but because the supply is not absorbed at this area, it will be in play one day. Okay? I know for certain it will be played. So there will be a bull market, but not yet. we need to let all of this finish out first. This will be an important area. You guys already have that from my previous chart, the 5.7. Otherwise, just look at the old highs about where they core out. Okay? Got it? This is the larger story that's happening in the bigger picture. In the shorter term, this is like getting us to important areas. We're looking for some closes. I didn't draw this parabolic right here, did I? No, I didn't draw that one. I don't know if I did. I'm going to draw it right now. I may have drawn it. Let's take a look. The upper one. No, I didn't. I only draw the larger down one. All right, let me draw that one right now. You dance over me. See, it's always good to take a fresh look. Oh, nowhere. This is our wick match area. And this is the core. We'll use size 4 for these in blue. And I won't draw the health in there. It's very tight. Very tight. So I need to redo this one. Let me move these to the side for now. They come up in the future. Okay. I need to add the number for that number. 5.73. I'm going to fade away this KR. It's getting in my way. KR means key angle reverberation. Above 5.71 is also an important close. After this, look for 6.82 average. It's a dynamic negative number. And dynamic negative means whatever number is not the end all be all. As time goes on, that number will go down lower and lower as time goes on. Here's all the way to 6.27. The average over the next months till here to December is around 6.82. So if price does break above the 5.71 number here, then you're probably going to go here. So 5% strong close, 5.71 another close, and 6.82 is going to be the big closes. I'll start all of that to make things simple for you. All right, now do we have any more questions?
Hey, Jason, what is the number on that larger parabolic? I forget if that was the monthly chart or the upper range on the larger parabolic.
Yep. All right, which one are you talking about? The purple one? The down one like that, or the smaller blue one?
It was the one that didn't have all the markings on it, that chart you had that just had the parabolic, basically?
Oh, that's this one. I'll go back to my images. That's a real simplified one. I'll give it to you here. Should be about the same. Okay. This one. This is straight here. It's just a key angle. The yellow parabolic, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one is this one here in purple. In fact, I'll change the color to yellow so you can see it. Yeah, that's better. So this one is going to be important. I'll take my blank one, and then again, I'll just make sure I add those stars so you can see what's important. I don't know if the stars are helpful, but I try to draw these stars so you can... I know I got a lot of stuff going on with my charts, but primarily what I'm doing with these stars is to show you territories that I think are important. That of all the stuff that's happening in the market, what really boils down to. Other stuff it's on the board, but not as important. I think these moves are going to give us some of the smaller healths that are in the way. But ultimately, things just boil down to a few important things. And my stars have a good track record of giving the most important areas that you guys need to focus on. If I really think a target's going to be hit, you'll see me at a white bar. And I think this target's going to be hit, although, again, this one's not in play. It's not in play until here. All right, any other questions? Okay. Complicated charts made simple. All right, that's what I'm here for. All right, let's move on to some cryptos. Oh, Shawnee Cat says, what's the top range for USDT.D? What is expected if we stay above the larger parabolic? If we stay above the 5% one, okay, which is down where the arrow's pointing, okay, right there. If we stay above there, I'm thinking we're going to get to 5%, which is the old high, which is also a type of flat. in a range. So we'll dissect this one in the future. But right now, it's already been hit. So I just think we're probably going to get back to that range again. It's a flat. I think that's where we're going to get to. If we do, the resistance at 5.71% is the core. The wick is around 6.5. So we're going to talk about that on Monday. Don't worry, I'm not going to miss it. Unless we move up tomorrow and there's another big dip in the market, another flash crash. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. But if it was, all of that area is still around where this is at. Okay, 6.33, 6.11. Yeah, somewhere up there. And all of this is above this 5.71. The 5% is only way down here. So we're going to really block out this area where this is all happening. You guys can draw it yourself. Okay. You can say, how do I draw these? There's two of them. Draw the core, then move it up to the wick side, because you have a wick match on the date of April 7th week. Then I'm looking for this to be higher. Okay. At any rate, all you do is color it in and draw it as a range. I cannot color in dual parabolics as a single in TradingView, but that's about where it is. Because this flat is also giving me the resistance, I'm not expecting us to really view this as a health unless we were really above there. Okay, and the resistance is here. That's why I didn't put this health right there. There's just very little money to be made in here as shorting. If we're here, we're probably going to wick up and come right back down to that area. So I really want to be above here to take some trades, but it's a really short time, or above here. So the times to act are actually probably now between here and maybe that top portion, and then again above here would be more of a health to delay because it's a very tight window. But again, we'll talk about that as we're in those more micro windows when we're there. Okay? We're not there yet. Going once. Going twice. Okay. This needs to be faded away since we already hit that target. So does this one. See, all of these were hit already. Right there. Alright. Let's move on.
6.82.
Yeah, 6.82 is the one we really need to be above for that's going to be a crash, I think. I don't think we're going to get that far.
If we get a close above 6.2,
yeah, on the weekly chart.
We could just wick.
Yeah, you can just wick there. You're fine. Yeah. You can wick there and it'd be fine. We definitely are going to check the volume when we're there to let us know if we really should be challenging those in the future. And that'll be important. And we'll probably look at RSI price base to see if there's a top for me. All right. All right. Anyone else? Okay, so in summary, I'm bearish the market. Why? Because we're building in these territories. We're probably going to get the close that we need tomorrow. On the weekly charts, we need to be gravitating up to the higher areas. That's probably where we're going to be going. Okay? All the other targets are hit. It's hit. Okay? This was hit. This is hit just yesterday. Everything's hit. So, ain't no more to play except for new things. Alright, so you guys all know what's going on. That's why we're here, to give you the most important numbers so you know what you're looking for. And as prices move into those territories, you have a semblance of peace, understanding what you should be looking at. We should be looking at cryptos fall. Alright? Negative for cryptos. Alright? Negative for cryptos. You guys remember from my report on Monday, the volume told us that. Now we're here with a higher degree of certainty. All you need is to confirm with health and weakness. In this case, healths were appearing. Here was the health on the down moves. So now you have most of what you need. Okay? You're supposed to be here right now until the move is over. The oscillation is probably going to be what's important. Oscillation means price playing between two or more areas. Here's our flat base. Our top part is here. This would be a phantom, a type of phantom in this at this area at the top. Price is supposed to be playing within these two boundaries for a bit right now, it appears. That's what we need. Closes above those boundaries, especially the top portion, will let us know that we have a little bit more chance to be bearish. And then after that, our top's going to be probably closer to 6 here, right? And then we're going to look in to what happens next. The next crypto on the board is XRP. As you guys have seen from my previous reports, I was bearish down to 255 is where I'm looking. Then we looked at the volume again. Let's take a look at what's going on with XRP. Remember, XRP, after challenging this area in September, I don't see signs of absorption at 275. This is 275 right here in this flat area. So straight across here, that's what we've been examining. Hit it multiple times. The support tells me that we're expecting a lower move down towards 265 and lower, 265, 255, which was down here at our first target. All right. The up move should find resistance at 305, which they did. At that moment, we're still in an up move, okay? And they found the resistance at 305 currently for the next move, but I expect price to gravitate towards 275 and lower. So we got back to 275, then went to our 265. Look at our closes, and now this is important. Can somebody tell me what's happening? Oh, by the way, on October 4th, I said this. Also, supply at 311 and 305 is also due for another challenge. This combined with 275 tells me that we will be more likely oscillating range trading between 275, 311, 305. Breakout should be above 311. So before we're bullish again, XRP, we really should be above 305, 311. Until then, we should be playing in these areas. But the closes on Monday told us another territory was forming. And why is this? Yeah, that's for the original health. Okay. The foundational area, as I told you in the previous USDT.D, lets you know almost everything that you need to know. If you're starting with cryptocurrency and you're trying to figure out what the heck is going on, it's quite simple. All you have to do in lessons number 1 and 2 in our 6.0 series, we talk about this so much. Look at how the move starts. If you're in the uptrend or in a downtrend, focus on how it starts. It lets you know a lot of what you need to know. For example, if this is a top and we're somewhere like here at a lower area, how did it start? It's quite simple. Draw the foundational area. Foundational areas is how you build and let it continue building to let you know when things are really changing. Here, bullishness is supposed to start happening in the market. Here, we can see a type of health in the market. Where are we supposed to find supports? Here, somewhere right here. Another down move starts here, and the foundational move is here. Things have a chance to still change, and you can see this battle start unfolding back and forth. It's quite simple. In our most recent move here, we have an up move that is looking like this in one sense, but also if you look carefully, you can see it's actually curved inward, and weakness is starting to appear on this crypto. Now I drew it like this. On my weekly on this chart. I drew the bottoms core wick and matching these cores somewhere around here, and we level off somewhere around here. And these days, they also happen to match when we did target system, and we did target system matching those larger moves, and it tells us, hey, there's a target here. Targets also help us reveal, in addition to the parabolics, what's really happening. Here we can see that if the target is above us and price is reacting to the underside, that's actually a sign of weakness. We should be going down because those targets now have been broken. On the top, they're not acting like a floor, but now that we popped into the basement, if we bounce back up, it appears they're acting like our resistance or our next roof. So that's how that kind of works. Now we combine those two thoughts together and we have a simple track. We have a track that looks like resistance because we're under here and target resistance. So this is actually a bearish thing. XRP needs to be playing lower. That's the basic sense of what's actually happening. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean I don't focus on the 305, but right now it's not in play. What's in play is that this was a sign of weakness. Building below or where we were supposed to go has been hit, so all of that can start fading away now. So we're going to fade away there and fade away the target, the star, right? Yeah. So all of that's done. All right, I'm just going to move this back. This target's hit. We're going to write the word hit. And then we're going to fade away. The text doesn't need to be so big and bold. And I'm going to put this on the top. Okay, so you can see what semblance of what is happening right now. And we're going to go further we had more clues, I think, and this is going to be another look. So let's talk. We're not in August. That's way old. All right. The next thing I'm going to do with this one, we're going to hide our lines. I'm going to pull up the volume on the higher weekly chart, and I'm going to reveal something shocking for you guys. Now that we've challenged this area multiple times, we can see what the volume is like in here, and to tell us if we also should be gravitating back to these lows, which I think is going to happen. The volume is going to tell us if it's more likely to happen with the higher with the higher degree of possibility. All right. We're going to mark these on our chart. A, B, C, D. Now, you can see that volume was trending down towards an absorption at this area. That means that if there's buyers, they are winning in these areas. However, in the flash crash, the market used this as an opportunity to test all of these areas. And we did not see an excess of volume, but we did see an increase of trading activity. More people holding XRP were panicked. They were willing to trade and sell and part with their XRP at these prices. If there's buyers that are absorbing, now new supply has flooded in the market. It's great when supply is absorbed and the move is into health, because that means that prices have a chance to move up. But the market, taking a collective dump or dip this past weekend, was able to retest this area, and you can see that the supply is now not absorbed because more supply has flooded the market. For prices to go higher, this needs to be absorbed. We have another foundational area to keep things simple. It's going to be here, and that's why we're still a long time in coming before the next bullish movements on XRP take place. Got it? Right now, it's more likely we're going to challenge and make sure that the supply is coming down here. Now, what happens is, as price enters these areas, we're going to make sure that the supply is low, and you want a low supply. You want one of these three. You want no demand, or you want low demand at the very least, which is aggregately low. Okay, and the other one you would like is, yeah, that's just all you want. I don't want to just say a decrease in volume, although that's important. Those three. But primarily you would like a no demand situation. A no demand situation is going to tell us that most of the supply has been absorbed. Okay, so I'm gonna write this down as a little clue for you. Of the absorption, you want to make sure that the supply has been absorbed. So you'll need volume to decrease, but not just decrease. We want a no demand situation. No demand. That means I want volume like it was here, showing me that we're done playing in here. Right now, it's telling us we are not done playing, and we need to gravitate back to those zones. Those zones of absorption and supply have to be finished. So in my opinion, XRP definitely needs to play in these areas. We need to come down. It's very normal for trading to occur in these areas, because based on the auction theory, based on the price acting like an auction, based on the laws of supply and demand, the supply and demand balance has not found balance yet in these areas. They have tested these areas, so for us to go up, if there's still too many traders, the market will naturally find its balance here. So on a weekly chart, that's going to be very telling. This is a weekly chart. Price is $2.35. I'm looking for price of XRP to come down to $2. If you're going to buy XRP, I think you can get it at $2. Any other questions on XRP? It was trending the right direction. I think you guys can get XRP at $2. I think $2.35 is a bad price. Although, really, in the future, everybody will say XRP was a great price at $5. Yeah, it's a great price anywhere, but I think it needs to come down. Okay. I'm going to add this text. I'll move on. 125. Based on the supply in this area, I expect we can see that absorption needs to occur again. The flash crash this weekend revealed weakness, not weakness, it revealed more supply coming around, and that should be flat. This doesn't even look flat. Around $2 to 190 areas. That's about right. Yeah. In my opinion, price should gravitate to this area in the near future because the structures confirm that this down move is more in play. Okay. All right, so the down move is more in play. There is a sword cut support in this area and resistance around, and what's the number? Around 290. 290. Breakouts above 290 should signal the next bullish move. So that's a very wide range, but very accurate. All right, I'm going to plot that on the board for you guys so you can have that. And you can take that what you will. Okay, so here's the next thing. Sword cut based on the broken parabolic somewhere approximately here. So draw that on your board. Should be a support approximately right here at the break. Sword cuts are drawn approximately where the candles cross over, somewhere about this area. So our sword cut is an area that price will likely find support. When it breaks, it's a sign of weakness. Here's our 290 number, approximately. That's going to be our big health. We need that one to go up. Okay, you need that to go up. These are my more important numbers for XRP. Those are the big takeaway numbers. 290, $2. Really 2 to 190 approximately. Giving myself a little wiggle room. Okay. All right, you got it? Take a screenshot now. That's about all I really want to say for XRP. Until then, we need to be playing here in this range, but I think we're going to gravitate to 2. Closer to 2. Let me fix the blue line a bit more. Yeah, there we go. I'll make it a 1 full screen. You got it? Going once. Going twice. All right. All right. This will not be a straight. It will be a parabolic. This is just my more official map. No. The next crypto we're going to look at.
Can we take a look at XRP again, the last chart?
Yeah, one moment. Okay. All right. Yep, here you can have that chart if you want to.
Thank you.
I'm going to look at TOSHI. TOSHI is on my large accumulation list. TOSHI has weathered the storm really nicely. More nicely than most cryptos. This is our larger move for TOSHI. I really like the large accumulation that came in initially on TOSHI. I wish there was more accumulation now. During the flash crash, it was a large shakeout bar that formed on October 6th, last past week. Next bullish move really needs to be above 0.009, 309 in my opinion. And that's based on the lower parabolic leveling out and the top. Somewhere around here, I believe, is where it needs to be. Let me pull up a daily chart. I think that's going to be more closer to more appropriate. No, it's going to be 2-day chart because we already cracked on the daily. Yep. So I would say on a 2-day chart, that's probably how we want to draw it. The structure still in place on a 2-day chart, and we have some nice verifications on the wick core with the 2-day chart. So those are going to be some important numbers probably for that health. So that's probably the exact number right here on this 2-day chart. Let's see. Let me write this. October 18th, 2025. Toshi's still holding strong. Let's see. I'm not looking for the flat. Was it holding strong on the flat on the weekly chart? What? Yeah. Okay, here Toshi weathered. We already talked about that, right? That's October 13th. Yeah. I don't really need to say much more about this than I've already said this weekend, except for the oscillation between the blue areas. Looking at the support at 0.00057, the leveled out parabolic, has strong confirmation or strong verification on its phantom wicks and cores, giving us resistance above 0.00094 on a 2-day chart. I believe prices need to be above there to start the next large bull run, bull move for Toshi. This is not on the board at the moment. Okay, it's not on the board at the moment. That's where it's going to happen. That one, right there, I believe. The other reason we want to look like there, guys, is it looks like there's a flat here, possibly. About the range is going to be right there. So I'm going to draw that in blue. Yep. And major weakness appears underneath. I don't want to be building underneath the 0006, so I'm going to make sure you guys have that. Weakness can start appearing above 0.00067, but based on how Toshi survived the flash crash this past weekend, I believe it will do well. It is also on the large accumulation list, and that means in the future I'm looking for it to move massive moves, guys, massive moves. I'm looking for Toshi to hit some numbers within its oscillation that are, if like up here, okay, and farther beyond, maybe in the future, depending on if we get some more things. But right now, just based on what I can see, the move for Toshi is just insane. If it moves up here, it's around 900%. It's just huge. It's just huge. Signs of mid-phantom already about halfway, right? That's where I'll be at mid-phantom. Signs that this is already going to happen is going to happen. There's our verification here and there. So I really think this is going to do just phenomenal in the future. But right now, the big trigger is going to be there, and it's not triggered yet. All right. Any other questions? Toshi. Triple J prophetic losing a zero, going to $1 higher like Brett. 00019 price going to 0.03 cents area. 3 cents is going to be somewhere above there, somewhere about up there in the sky. If we were to go in these days to 3 cents, we're talking around 4,000%. So I think it's going to do well. Based on the data, I think it's going to do well.
What's a good price to buy?
What's a good price to buy? If you can walk away as close as you can to this blue number right there, 0067, right now the price is 00070, so we're not far away from a good entry. Anything above this line, that's where you really want to be. I don't want to be below here, because then I can start playing back here, but it's not the end of the world. It's just the first big sign of weakness. Okay, but I wouldn't mind paying some here. The other price I would want to pay is when we're above there, because then that's not going to waste my time as much. This is when it's more likely to go up, once we have a chance as above this. But right now it can play around for quite a good while. Here's December. If price continues to play here, this is December, right about here, December 23rd. Okay, got it? You can see we've just been going up and down for a bit, and we may continue until the year is out. Come. All right, let me read your comments. Come. All right, so TOSHI support lower around 0.00065 are low long-term entries. Okay. Current price 0.00070. Okay. So if you can come down a little bit for TOSHI and be nice, if you're going to be getting TOSHI. Okay. Me, I already told you guys many reports about this. You guys see the large money that's came into this crypto, and where was the profit taking? Where was the imbalance between the buyers on the down move? There's no profit taking here. The profit taker, these players are still in the game. You guys need to just remember, in a simple sense, these players are still in the game. Okay. They absorbed, and basically there's no one left to play with in those quantities of supply. There's just not enough. When price comes down, the moves are into the right and into health, all of them. And I think the moves are actually getting less sharp as we come. The next one should be flat. That's why we're really focused on this breakout here, because in a simplest sense, I'll draw it for you. It's like this, sharp, and then it goes to the 45 degree, and then after that it starts going like this, and we can start seeing the next move should be a flat time. So this would be a flat, but also somewhere above here would also be. The cores are somewhere in this area. So a lot of it's going to tell us that once we start the move, it should be really accelerating, because now we've conquered the biggest parts that we need to conquer. It's like silver in that sense. Okay? A lot of these cryptos are just going to move simply like that. But some of them move into weakness, and you guys need to wake up and see where they're at in their territory. All right, let's look at the next crypto, RSR, and I'll look at that for you. It looks like I had some more requests. I will add some more requests here. I don't know if I have time for everybody's request today. I'm feeling under the weather, guys. I'm sorry.
Usually when you travel on them airplanes, you can pick up something like bugs from other people. Were you on an airplane?
No, but I was around my brother-in-law, and he was sick. And it never stops me from hugging, so I still hug people. He was like, "Don't touch me, for I've not yet ascended to my Father." And I'm like, I don't. And he's, "Man, you just don't care." I said, "Nope, I don't." People we love in our life, we're only around a brief time. So I would rather spend my days loving. That's my opinion. For me. RSR. RSR is in a negative spot, it looks like. It looks like price had a breakout, hit its target to the top side, built structure underneath the target side, challenged the parabolic, went up again, hit the target one more time, still building on the underside, weakness revealed. We're building underneath this area. Yeah, this is a negative spot for this crypto, in my opinion. Now, let's take a look at the volume on the higher time frames. Oh, let me take a picture. So, this is a negative spot. This is this spot right here. Okay. The target hit, so all of these are hits. So let's fade them away a little bit. All of these targets are hit. Probably the next weakness then is going to be underneath these current prices down here. Let's draw this a little bit more appropriately. I'll keep the same color too. Yeah, I don't want to be here. I'm going to check the wick match, okay? Yeah, your confirmed weakness. Okay, your foundational area, it's all broken, and you should not be in this area here. Let's take a look at our event line. This is going to be the last big events that happen before we move into those weaknesses. They're a big tell about how far price should fall. Price should fall to approximately, that's going to be active. Oh, there's no event line for this one, it's just weakness. Okay, so I'm going to check the next event line, the more recent one. It's going to be something like that. And that's going to be telling us where our next support is. It's going to be this one. So in order, they would actually go this one first, and then the next one, and then so forth and so on. Generally, there's only 2 event lines. This is the more important one, and it's going to tell us some supports for RSR about here. I would probably want to short this one. Ooh, good. Yeah, I'm going to short this one. Probably. Very likely I'm going to short this one. Yeah. Here we go, baby. I love the ones that are so easy and they're moving to weakness.
I just put that up in the chat. Good for a short.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Glad I don't know.
Let's check the core at these prices. I want to check the core cluster at 2023 on a weekly chart, and we can probably use a higher time frame. Yep. Oh, nope. Nope. It's a little more muted. Let's check the... Yeah, it's still there. Oh, it's good. Okay, so that's where the main oscillation. Now you're saying, why, Jason? Why, if you're in weakness, why are we caring about this area? Does anybody remember why we might care about an area, an oscillation, if we find the key angles and match? If this angle matches this angle with the verification, when we place it here, it matches. I draw this one as the key from lessons 1 and 2. We place it here at the top, which is the highest energy center, the center of that energy. In this area, it gives me a verification, and it's the same angle. Does anybody remember why we care about this oscillation even though we're here in a weakness? Tell me. Why? iPad, do you see what he's drawing? He's drawing the DP. Okay, the duplicate projection, the new word for it. All we do is take the distance of the oscillation itself. It's quite simple. Take the distance of the oscillation, duplicate it the same distance that it traveled in. Take your angle, bring it straight down, and match it to where it goes, and it tells you approximately the new support or where you're on track to hit. With a higher degree of certainty, it's likely we hit DPs, where DPs act like a strong target. Now, not all DPs are hit. Sometimes they can be interrupted by other forces, such as maybe a low that is in this area. Here's the low that's in this area. Okay, we already hit that low. If the volume is much higher, which it's in this case it's not much higher, we don't have a super strong incentive to hit there. If the DP is very close to that target, sometimes we just wick to hit the DP, and then we continue on further. So in this case, I'd be looking for a low. The volume in these days is only down here, and the volume down here is not much higher. So there's not a super strong incentive for this to be bearish much longer, which means if I'm shorting it, I don't want to be shorting it and holding it long term. I want to short it and get out when it's time. All right, so let's draw some possible supports, and we can go from there. All right. Oh man, I had a weird dream. Man, I had a weird dream. It's still bothering me. I gotta think about it. I had a dream.
What was it?
I had a dream I was in the back seat of my pastor's car with his son, Bubba, and we were children again. He was my childhood best friend. And we were at a church, and they picked me up after I was visiting this church as a man, and everybody in the church was falling asleep. But it was a prayer meeting, but everybody was falling asleep at the church. But it was good that they were at least at the church, and some of them were falling asleep praying in tongues, but everybody just, for the most part, most people just wanted to sleep. And that was sad. Because I was like, man, I said, Pastor Kim's coming. Why isn't everybody here praying for the conference? Why aren't we praying? Why are we not praying? And everybody was just asleep at the church. And then the next part was I was in the back seat of the car, and his father, when I tried to grab this squirrel, like it was a plush doll with a squirrel, he says, "No, this squirrel is so important to me because I got that when you were a little kid." And then I was like, wow. And I was talking to Bubba as a child. But I woke up and I remembered he died in real life.
Can I share my dream?
Oh, yeah, you have an important dream, don't you? I think you told me this weekend.
No, I have the same with you doing right
What?
now. I just have a dream. I'm driving a car, picking up someone.
Oh.
I didn't know you were the passenger.
Or maybe I was.
That was strange when you told that. Oh my goodness.
I was just sitting in the back of the car. We're trying to get to a safe destination. And
Do you know what the car is? Because I was driving a limo.
it was a very fancy car with a very big space.
Yeah, I was driving a limo. I was picking someone. I didn't know. The Lord didn't reveal to me.
Or maybe it's the same one in the same royal.
Yeah, I just had this morning.
Oh, praise God. It was a weird dream. It bothered me because he died. I didn't go to his funeral. I
How
thought
did he die?
about...
You don't mind me asking.
Huh?
How did he die?
Oh yeah, he got in an altercation with somebody. He ended up living a bad life. Ended up being estranged from his father for a time. He was the pastor's son. But he rebelled against God in many ways. Because the pastor loved me like his own son, he often thought me like a rival. And he hated me because of it for a while. We could never get along, even though we were childhood best friends. We had nothing in common. He was like night and day. I didn't know who he was. He was very concerned about image and everything like that, but he didn't want to. I remember one time I saw him as an adult, and the first thing I did was he was like, "What kind of brand clothes are you wearing?" And he's sticking his hand in my clothes, just pulling up my tag to compare if I'm wearing like some kind of name brand shirt or whatever, if I'm wearing a poor man's shirt or whatever. I don't know what it was. I'm like, "Bubba, I don't care about things like that. What is the matter? I haven't seen you in years, man. Come on, let's talk about something more than superficial stuff. You know what I mean? Who cares about things like clothes and things?"
You should have told him you were wearing an Italian shirt called...
Que Marte. Or as my dad would say, I got this at the house of Target. It's just
Well, dream means
Target.
something. There is that verse that comes to mind that when it mentions about people in churches asleep, you know that verse in the New Testament where it says, "Awake, O sleeper." Squirrels collect things, don't they?
Yeah, yep.
It means something. It's kind of, and you're both in the back of the car, so you're locked in the car. It's within that person. He was really a wee boy, but he was locked in or something. It's like something like. But you need to pray. I suppose just pray for his family and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was thinking, there's a specific reason why I meet his parents in my dreams every so many years. This is as weird as this sounds. His parents try to keep tabs on me, or I keep tabs on them in my dreams. I'll meet them for a very specific reason. I cannot say why, but I meet them in my dreams every now and then, and they'll give me a message. And generally, the message has nothing to do with me. It's about them and the things they're trying to say. In real life, this has been confirmed by, the messages have been confirmed by others I know who are in contact with them. It's the same. There was one time the Lord gave me a prophetic message for them, and it was not received. And one time I ran into the pastor's wife at a mall, and before long, she grabbed my shoulders like this, and she's shaking me like, "The Lord never left us, the Lord never left us." And I'm just sitting there, "Lady, you don't have to prove that to me. The proof is in the pudding." Like, where's the Spirit of the Lord? Where's the Lord gone? What is the Lord doing? What is happening? And they'll show up in my dreams, and they'll try to convince me otherwise every so often, or they'll tell me something or the direction. But in my opinion, based on the instructions of the Lord, they have a semblance of or form of godliness, but deny the power for very specific reasons. And I think that church is often associated with a dead church. They're very concerned with money, business, prosperity, and success. And that's a warning for all wealth transfer churches, for wealth transfer communities, or our church, WordRoom. We don't want to be dead. We don't want to find ourselves dead. We don't want to find ourselves on a journey towards dead things, and we don't want to find ourselves asleep. And those are good warnings. Let's finish with render. We'll go on, okay? All right, of RSR, I think this is in a negative spot. I think this is going to be a good spot to get out. I would like to do some more analysis of it, but prices should be finding support at this low. As I explained in the volume, I think we're going to be getting down to here. The DP's down here, the flat's down here. This is a negative spot for this crypto. We don't want to have high volume on the up bar, which is this week. So this close up here, the high volume right here on the up bar, we don't want to have it, because it could be dumping after the fact. All right, once the weakness comes in, if you see that high volume after the fact, it's like, why wasn't it there before? Why wasn't it here at these prices? Why now? Plus, in addition to all of that, it's a challenge to these old areas, and you can see that the volume is still high at the challenge area, which tells us we should still be playing within these areas. We should be looking to move down, in my opinion, based on some of that volume. I think that this just needs to come down a bit, and then we're going to re-examine it in the future. Okay. Yep, a lot of profit taking that was done here. Profit taking, large profit taking. Look at the volume, just huge, just off of the charts at the top into moves that are down and to the right. Here on professional selling has to happen on up moves, up bars, and up trends. Look at the ultra high volume at this target, at the resistance. Why now at this area do we have volume that's almost off the chart? Why? But if the move is into weakness and to the right and down, why is that? High volume. This was selling. Professionals have to sell into the greed of the market, okay, of the masses. I'm going to put this on the board so you guys can remember what you're looking at when you're looking at that. All right, we talk about this in our tutorials on Wednesday quite a bit in the volume. So I'm gonna put this here, professional selling. By the way, in the future, when we get into bull markets, you guys are gonna have me discuss a lot more of the distribution phases. But right now, we're still focusing a lot on the accumulation phases, as we're looking for those to be the case for some of the major cryptos. We're looking for those areas when they're first accumulated. Professional selling. And so there's two professional sellings on this board, and then I'm going to mark here. Although this candle is not closed yet, it's showing signs. Okay, high volume on the up move after weakness occurs is often a sign of weakness. Okay, often a sign of price getting dumped. Okay. If you're especially you young men, you need to understand there are certain clues a woman gives you that she's gonna dump you. Okay, you need to understand those clues. You need to know when you're getting dumped.
I need a list.
She's looking at the other man. She's asking you to make more money. She's spending more than she's worth. There's clues that she gonna leave you, buddy.
Tell me, so if we look at this on the daily chart on Sunday night before the weekly close, and we really want to see the volume being pumped up tomorrow, yes, if it's going to close and into weakness.
Let's see. We already got some of that high volume. Look at the volume. It's really high on that specific day for the daily chart here. I really don't need it so much on the daily chart. For me, I would be looking, since the structure's all over the place, I'd be looking at what's just generally happening on this bar here. And we already got it. I just need this bar to be an up bar of any kind. So if it closes just like, that's still going to fulfill my requirement. So I really don't think it's going to be tomorrow that it's going to crash. But yeah, something, in my opinion, it's already forming. There's another crypto that's like that, which I'll look at the end as a bonus. The one that we looked at proof today. All right, I'm looking for that one to move a big percentage. RSR, I like it. But it might be a long move, by the way, too, since it's a weekly chart. It might take a long time. But markets fall faster than they rise. Look, I put RSI. Weakness. Weakness area. I expect a big fall in RSR. Okay. Let's look at SHIB. I think SHIB still needs to get to play around these areas. This is a foundational support you guys know for a long time. Speaking of our theme today, it seems our theme is still foundational areas. So I have a core here, wick match, so that should be approximately like that. But these are the areas where I think price is going to be moving to and gravitate here. It's nothing new. The SHIB chart here, previously July 2025, look for prices in this area to match prophetic information. Personally, I'm bearish until we hit these supports based on the selling in the VSA. So I think that SHIB needed to hit these areas. We hit them, but based on USDT.D, as I mentioned, guys, earlier in my report, both on Monday and today, it's still the same. We need to be playing in these areas. It's not something that's get comfortable being here. Okay, get comfortable, and not saying that where I'm expecting the crash, the one that prophetically. No, this is a down move, but the territory we're in tells us it's moving upward. We need to be playing up there a little bit longer. I think we're going to be oscillating, and I'm going to let you know when it's done, or when we at least reach that next decision point. We'll look at it on Monday. We'll look at it on Wednesday. We're going to be looking at it all this month. But right now, we should be bearish. I'm bearish the market. See, USDT.D, bearish crypto markets. Now, because of that, a lot of these cryptos are going to be gravitating to the lower areas. I think SHIB needs to be coming down to 0.0832. So somewhere around here, I think needs to go here a little bit more. Okay, nothing new since July. We need to play here. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. We're in a downtrend. Build me some proper support. The other thing about SHIB, and I say this often about SHIB, is I don't see the large accumulation on SHIB. Okay, this is what I wrote here on October 10th. Based on today's data, I can see signs of absorption near the 00010 area. Let's see. So there's some signs of absorption. Also see structure there. This weekend when it was challenged, the volume was higher, but not much. It's still close to average. This is different from the other cryptos that also experienced a flash crash. This indicates that the signs of absorption is holding. Combined with the close of the candle still, this is a good sign. In addition, the price of RSI price based on the weekly chart means that the large bottom may be forming. So we may be looking for a bottom in this area starting to form. Shorter term, I'm expecting prices to play in this area, but not fall much farther. Although I'm not bullish yet, because I do see signs of accumulation. I am not as bearish as I once was, and that's these comments here. I'm not as bearish as I once was. I also want to see buyers come in the volume. Until then, I am patient that these may be some of the last great prices to enter SHIB at lows before the up moves. Confirmation is above 00013. So I really need to be, again, above this before I start thinking seriously about buying SHIB at the moment. Otherwise, I'm going to be looking for bottoms to form in these areas or in these areas. Primarily right now in these areas. So when you see signs of absorption start to come in the volume, that means that overall, comparatively to the lows, we're going to be going down in volume, and we want to make sure that the volume doesn't keep increasing at the challenge areas. That's going to let us know if we need SHIB is going to be moving much lower, or we're going to start forming the bottom. So I think that based on what we see in the volume, I think that SHIB is not as bad as it once was. I'm not bullish SHIB yet until it shows me that I really need to buy it now or something like that. Otherwise, I really just want to just be safe and buy it above the parabolic, which is going to be, I can actually delete that one right there, which is above this line right there where the green marker is. Okay, so I want to be above this area, or I want to be down here. Those are the two big prices. Those are going to have my star. Okay, anyone else have any other questions from my report on October 10th? Still the same.
What do you think would be the highest price it could reach during the height of the bull run?
Oh, during the bull run, I'm going to be looking to get right here for the first part of the bull run, somewhere at the DP. If this DP holds, which is, it's probably going to, it's the oscillation between here and here, I'm going to be looking to get there. The other thing is, if this holds here, which it's probably going to hold, I'm going to be looking for that DP to also be hit, and that number is there on my board, 0.1 cent. The move in its entirety, if there was a measurement, and just say I can get those prices I want down here right there, the money that's on the table might be somewhere around 12,000%. Huge money, huge run in these areas, closer to 12,000%. Huge. Now the problem with SHIB is I'm not expecting that to move 12,000% without professional accumulation. I still don't see the professional accumulation on here. I could be missing it, but I don't see it. I do a lot of these classes. I have 16 cryptos. We identified professional accumulation. Many of them need to come down. Many of them absorption needs to happen. Many of them need to move into health. But you can see signs that the banks, the hedge funds, the large traders are entering. I don't see it with Shiba. I'm sorry. Prophetic information, praise God. I think it's going to do great. And it could almost overnight if there's other factors at play. I just don't have them in the data that I see. If I see on the this down move, just say we can see like this. I'm going to show you real quick. I'll pretend. All right. If I see Shiba doing something like this, is how I would view that. If I see it coming down right here, and then I see volume rising as on the down move, and the move is into health, which would be confirmed in this down move here, again, as you guys already saw on my board. If I'm there, then I'm going to be viewing prices higher. I need to see that professional accumulation coming in. I need to see buyers coming there. I want to see more buyers coming here, right there. I want to see some buyers coming in. I want to see it, but I just don't right now. I never saw it on Shiba, so we got to see it. And I'm just going to type that in so you guys have it, what I'm actually. I still want to see a large professional buying. Like we see it on XRP, we see it on XLM, and I'll put the date here so you guys know I don't see it right now. October 18, 2025. I see it on XLM. No, I don't see it on XLM. I see it on XRP. We see it on XDC. I don't see it on XLM. I see it on some cryptos like XDB, really big, buying on that one. Needs to come a little lower. I don't see it on Shiba. One day, I hope to. Either at the low or at above. All right. Any other questions? My thoughts, my opinions? It's not on the down moves here. We see profit takers, large profit takers. We see all the people taking profit. Come on, where are the buyers coming in? Come on, something's not right, guys. Something's not right. This needs to cook in the oven. The gingerbread man needs to cook a little longer, my friends. All right. But it's going to do well in the future. I think it's going to do real well. Other people, look, crypto, Triple J, waiting for 1 cent. 1 cent is way even higher. But I don't know if it's going to happen all this current move. 1 cent is about right there. It's very possible. All right. These DPs are not in play, and they don't really activate until they move into the health that you're expecting. For example, if this DP up here will activate sometime when we're above here, right there. I mean, above that area, approximately. This one. Let me show you. Yeah, right there. Okay, so get me above there, then that DP activates. Right now, it's not active. It could still act like a resistance here at the top. But we still need local health before we even talk about those numbers. So that's how we can see several moves in advance. But right now, they're not there. All right, my friends. Anything else? Okay, any other things? Take your screenshot. All right, here we're going to go. Pepe. Oh, September 6th. I'm looking to fall towards 0.085. We already got there. Yeah, that's already filled. Okay, then I'm looking next how the lever short-term bearish, long-term bullish. Come. All right, foundational area still holding. This one already fulfilled. September 6th, we already hit our 85. That's our 85 number about here. This week we are actually below our 85, so our next target has been hit, and we got our close underneath there. So that's going to fulfill. Our big weakness in the foundational area is, this is the stuff I'm talking about, my friends. Pay attention to this. It's going to be important. Oh my gosh, how many foundational areas today did we find that have a parabolic shape like this? Pay attention when you see them happen, because they're a big clue about what's going on in the market, my friends. If you have more reasons, if your cryptos are entering areas like that, look for some of your supports. Look for other areas and evidences to make your case. In this case, if we were drawing the lines from the previous energy centers here and here, in this one's July 2025 or December 2nd, 2024, we can see that was still telling us there was still resistances. We were looking for breakouts above this price. We did not get those structures we needed above that breakout area. Instead, we phased into the weakness. When you phase into those weakness, Look for signs like high volume on the up bars after the fact. If you see that, I don't know if we saw it this one, but if you see that, those are more signs that something's wrong. In this case, we don't have that on that one, on this one. But those are signs that you can view that something's wrong. In this case, if you're going up along a parabolic, why are you now phasing below these? This is signs that you're going to come back down to your challenge areas. In this case, we marked out a VZB for this class. Small bones, buying zone A, B, C, buying coming in, small buying coming in on those areas. We can see the volume rising on the down bars here and here. The volume is trending in the right direction. And look at the challenge, what's happening. So now to continue with zone number C, it's looking good and nice. All right, so I said in our previous September report earlier, we were looking at, show you, I think I deleted it. I don't want to delete it. Oh, yep, here it is. Nope, no, that's not it. Okay, we're looking at this one. In September of this year, we were looking for those absorption, signs of absorption taking place at the challenge area. The volume's trending nicely, and right now the volume is even less. So we're going to point it out again today so you guys can see what it is. I'm looking for PEPE. Yeah, we hit our target here in the flash crash, but what I'm looking for is not the I'm not looking for the flash crash stuff. I'm looking for the structural stuff that we can see, observe, and take place. Let's mark it real quick. I'll move on. Here's area number A. Small buying A, B, C, and this is going to now be D. Now that we're almost here or already here. So we want to see the volume continue to trend lower to a no demand. That's not how you spell demand. /ND is the symbol we use. Okay. We want to see the volume at those same areas trending lower. That means that the volume is being the supply is being absorbed in those areas. So let's mark that. You can see the relationship between A to B is a decrease. The relationship between B to C is also a decrease, and C to D is also a decrease. So all of it is very positive. It's not just one or two, or the move in its entirety. It's trending that way. That means that the buyers who are coming in, if there is buyers, which I believe there is because they come in on the down move here on the higher volume, okay, they come in here. If there's buyers, that means they're winning the game, and we can see what price they're winning and know where we expect them to win at. This is the number. This is the magic number. Okay. Okay. You're like, oh my gosh, he's talking about magic numbers. No, I just mean that's the key number. Okay, that one, 0000056. In my opinion, PEPE is being absorbed by the large players at that area. And that means that we need confirmation of health. If I get above this line, which is already there, right? There's my star, right? That's already my green dot. That marker just moves down. Okay. If we move to those areas, I'm going to be looking for this to go up in a big way because the game is being won at this area. All right. I'm going to put this in I'm going to put a little text so you can have all of this in a single image, and I'll type it out for you. Okay. PEPE. Oh, Lord, help me. PEPE is being absorbed as previously discussed in September near 0.0000056 to 52 area. This means, in addition, we are near challenging the area again. I believe these may be good low prices for PEPE. So if you're going to buy it anyway, you want to pay that low price. Understand? That's what you want to pay. You want to pay that low price anyway. Otherwise, and this is how I trade, I like to wait till it's in health or the weakness on a short. Otherwise, wait for the confirmation. But some of you guys, you just buy at low prices anyway, so that's what the maps can help you with. Otherwise, wait for confirmation of health above the 0.00. What's the current price going to be? 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 9 and lower. I should not lower. Dynamic negative. Okay, areas. Okay, so I want to be above there, and then we can talk. Let me copy and paste this. Make sure that this. All right, so now you guys have a record of what I'm expecting. I need to be above there, and I'm going to get down there most likely. All right, especially in a bearish market. So let's clean up this chart a bit from what I'm expecting. Let's see. Let's fade away this. Fade away that. Bring up this. Take away that. Oh no. Delete the text for that. There's the number. There's the next health above there. You guys can read it in real time. And we'll leave the weakness on the underside. So this is a short health, but it's going to be a stronger health. And the number, it's 10, closer to 10. And next week it will be 9.7. All right, 9.7. Good. All right, I think it's going to do well in the future. The oscillation, based on its current angles, is going to be probably up to this key angle up here. And based on the mid-phantom, where I expect the mid-phantom is here. This is an unhit top. It's going to be closer to 0.0007, 4078. So I'm going to be looking for it to lose a 0. That means if we can get it at the low up to the yellow line, it's about 1,000%. Okay, now I'm going to say that again, why I think we're going to move about 1,000% if we can move into the health. The foundational area. Look, that's a theme for today, right? We're talking so much about foundational areas. Draw them. If you're not using foundational areas, you're missing out. Oh my gosh, you're missing out. I've told you guys that 4 times last week. If you're not, and the week before last, if you're missing out. Now, when we have evidence that you're responding to your mid-phantom, or your mid-phantom is forming, price is playing above, but also below, it's a clue that you're dealing with a mid-phantom. If so, you want to take the distance of that mid-phantom and project where the top really is. All they're the same exact spot. You just take one, okay, and duplicate on top. So even if we haven't hit this top, which we haven't in yellow, we can take the foundational area, the angle that's used to that. It's the same angle, right? From the bottom. It's the same angle. We can project where it should be based on where we think the mid-phantom is. Now, until then, we have this one. But based on what I can track, I can assume that the actual phantom is up here in the sky. And if we were to hit it today, the number would somewhere be around that 7 number. That's how I have that number for you. Okay, I'm not just pulling out this number out of thin air. We've already done this calculation plenty of times. 000070. So from right now, the low where the absorption is being taken place, which is here, okay, I'm looking for us to move 1,000%. Okay, from here to here, we're looking about 1,000%. Now that's assuming we get the health. So we still need the health. Has not taken place yet. So if you're buying here and we lose, and there's another bearish market that starts after this window closes, which is going to be closer to December. Okay, once that closes, yep, this is around the beginning, maybe January. Okay, but once that window closes, if that takes place, we have a chance to get out with a very minimal loss. We paid here, we got out there. Understand? That's very common. Okay, very common with sword method. When you can map it, you can actually see when things are going against you, and you can minimize your losses. And that's a very powerful thing. Otherwise, we're waiting for that confirmation above there, and that's how I like to buy. I like to buy above the health as close as I can to the support. In this case, if it happens at the last moment, that's great. If it's here, I'll take it, but I'm far away, and I need to make sure that I have a low stop order or a low position before I'm liquidated or anything like that. But if I can get as close as I can, praise God. All right, that's how I want to approach that. So does everybody understand how I got that number and why I think we're probably going to get it? So those are my 2 big numbers. and this is my breakout number. Okay, you can take a screenshot. That's my more simplified art version. Got it? Any questions, my friends? Going once. All right, let me. Okay, I like this one. Need to come down. Where did I put my other comments on? Okay, there's a Pepe being absorbed. All right, let's move on. There's our watch line. We're watching that. A watch line / key angle. All right. Right now we're going to fight out here, and we're getting to the low number. All right. Let's move on. Pepe bearish short term only down toward 0.000055 area. Bless. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you. Be gracious to you. Lord turn his face to. Is this a relatively new crypto? It looks like. September 25th. Alright. Alright, I'm going to be about neutral with this crypto, my friends. With Bless, Crypto Bless. I'm going to be about neutral. This bar right here, ultra high volume. Normally we want to read it on a down bar, but in its context it's actually at the low. So if we were to view it like maybe on a weekly chart, the entire move would be a down bar here. So you got to be careful and just like saying, oh, it's a down bar. Don't just isolate it to a bar itself. Read it in context. It's the down move, it's the down bar. So that's going to be that high volume. Now if the high volume comes in here, that means there's been some buying coming in here. If the move is into health, in this case we have it only on a daily chart, so I'm going to view that is a little bit of small buying coming in. The problem is once we get back in here, you can see that the volume is pretty much the same and the move is down and to the right. So whoever's the large players that were buying in here in the 600 million of this crypto, it's 0.05. So 600 million at 0.5, that's got to be at least $1 million, something like that. Some money coming in. You can also see large profit taking here, and they balance, so they cancel each other out, which means we need another move if we're going to be going up. All right, so we need some more money coming in this crypto by professional traders. In addition, we have a large up bar but high volume on the up bar itself, and that was just from October 15th, so just 2 days ago. So it's very possible that there's a weakness. Now this one has a low foundational area, so it's going to be very hard to confirm that. In any case, I'm going to be looking for this to actually hit the lower number again as a flat. Because there's so little candles, I can't really do a proper analysis, but if I were to gauge it based on the foundational area, I'm going to be looking for this to come lower. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Buying but also profit taking cancels out. Okay. New buying campaign needed, or new buying needed for longer term health. Okay, a lot of the cryptos that need to go up need to have that buying in the background, like WikiCat or something like that. They need that coming in. All right, anyone have any other questions regarding this crypto Bless? I don't have much for you, I'm sorry, there's not enough candles. Bless you. Come on, that was a funny joke, guys. It was real, but it was also funny. Lord help me. All right. The number it needs to come down to. I wouldn't short this because it's too volatile when it's not enough candles. But I'm going to be looking for it to come to that blue line, approximately 0.024, 021 area. All right. Going once, Bless. Going twice, Bless. I am bearish towards, what was the number I gave you guys? 0.024, 0.021. The next crypto, BABYPEPE. BABYPEPE. Some weird ones. 10 zeros. Oh, I'm embarrassed. This crypto. Look at that flat. Look at that flat, man. Are we still in the downtrend, the foundational area? Yes, we are. And it's confirmed. The oscillation is confirmed on the as the phantom. Look, if this is your key angle, your phantom's at the lowest energy center down here. Oh, it's not confirmed. Sorry, thought it was. Let's see our mid phantom. All right, do we got anything for mid phantom? Yeah, a little bit. Not much. Okay. All right, let's look at the volume. Look at that profit taking, man. Look at that profit taking. Ultra high. Oh, that volume's off the chart. Look at that, off the chart selling, going on the up bar. The move is to the right and down. Look at high volume to the right and down. The moves are both into weakness, guys. Lets you know everything you need to know. This selling, this volume right here was confirmed right there, but this one, this weakness wasn't confirmed until now. I'll do it again. Pay attention, my friends. This is a dangerous crypto at the moment, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Alright, this is just my never financial investment or trade advice. Everything just for entertainment, educational, comedic purposes only. The high volume from professional sellers has to happen on up moves, up Mars, and uptrends. Here is the up move. There's the high volume in its context. If the move is to the right and in the weakness, which it is, then it lets us know what type of volume it was. It's like a words you could, and once all the letters are sound out, then it's going to change the rules of the words. Like an E at the end of a hop changes the O in the consonant to the word hope. Instead of ah, it's O, because there's an E. Once the word is finished, you can make sense of what the word was trying to say. And you can say, oh wow, hope is very positive. But if I say, if the words in their entire context tells you some other things, like the volume's trending down, it's telling us more information, even if you have a single word. If I say I have no hope, then that in its context, those three words added to the first word have a negative connotation. In this case, we have volume high, which tells us there's professional selling if the moves are down and to the right. That's negative. Selling, selling, selling. However, if we also view this in the context of who's winning and losing, of those who are buying or selling, in this case, these three are selling, we know this by the moves that are being confirmed. The structures that are built below those areas tell us most of what we need to know. This area, therefore, is another weakness telling us, hey, that was selling. So this one told us it was selling, this one told us it was selling, and this one told us it was selling because we are just moving down into the right in this weakness area. All the high volumes at the very top, but the move is to the right and down. So selling, and of those three words, the volume is going down in those areas. That tells us the sellers are actually winning instead of losing. So sellers winning, and now we're rounding in this area with selling and the winning in the background. Come on now. If the volume's high this time around, I'm going to be even more bearish. This might be something I'd like to short, and I'll show you where I want to short it. All right? I'll tell you. I don't know if I can short this one on my exchange, but or my exchanges. Here would be the next up move you want to hunt. It's that one. Okay, we'll make it white, we'll make it dotted, we'll make it dashed, and you'll be in, you'll be out. Yeah, you can have a great day. So in my opinion, this is going to come down. The whole area is a negative area, and that's how you guys can find some opportunities on cryptos. I asked for you guys to send me some cryptos you think is negative, cryptos you think is bullish, whatever you think. Add them if you guys are on our website, patreon.com. I'll flash the website real quick while I'm drawing. Okay. If you're seeing this clip on YouTube at all, you guys can sign up right there. Okay. Take a screenshot. All right. Now we're looking. I'm going to be looking. How far do I think this is probably going to come? Probably down in there. Down right there. 10 zeros. 10. Current price is 10 zeros 43. So maybe, what is this, 30%? Oh no. Instead of 300%. How is that right? Oh, okay. Yeah, oh, because it's going from 4. So current prices right now would probably be a good spot for me. I would feel comfortable with an entry because I'm very close to the resistance, and I'm very new to that weakness. So I already got my candle close on a weekly chart. Oh, this is a weekly chart. Oh, you probably got a long move down, but it could probably move fast, but it's probably going to be a few weeks. Or not a few weeks. It'll probably be over the next, maybe till December. Here's December of 29th. Probably somewhere between now and December, we're going to be looking to come down. All right. Anyone have any other questions? This is BABYPEPE and wrapped ETH. In my opinion, bearish. 10.065. All right, I'm going to add my context. October 12th. Oh no, 18th. This crypto is bearish, in my opinion, based on its structure. Everything in this video is never financial investment or trade advice of any kind. Everything's just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast. Trading the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially be aware against high leverage trading. Evidence in the volume shows large selling by professionals. It's going to be maybe hedge funds, some kind of major selling taking place at the highs, as confirmed by the moves into weakness. The last move up is rounding underneath the old support flat. This also is being broken. This up move is also being broken into that area. Broken as of this week. As of last week. I expect this crypto to fall. I would like to short it. This is my opinion. What I think. Sorry guys, not think. Think. 420%. I'm gonna put 400%. Any other questions? BABYPEPE. I hope I'm finding good opportunities for you guys today. Okay. For some of you, I'll let you know my opinions on the markets. Health, this should be green. I don't know why that's red. That's where our health comes in. I wouldn't consider buying it until I'm building above there, but even then, with all the data we're rounding, I don't think this is good at all, in my opinion. Dangerous. These are the important areas. Okay, but I'm actually making a prediction. We're going to be getting lower. So you see me draw a rectangle. Okay, all right. Going once. The resistance. You love Star Wars. Mr. Mall, get that Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars out of this chart room today. Without respect, we reject. Down with Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars. Some people say it's not real Star Wars. Actually, I like the Resistance. I'm actually Team Resistance. And when I play X-Wing or board games, I'm the Resistance player. I like Poe Dameron. I love him. He's my favorite. I got his comic books. All right, let's go to the next cryptos. BABYPEPE bearish. Very bearish. Very bearish. Look at that. Looking to short. All right. Did we have any other questions about? Interrupt me if I have questions, guys. If I'm going too fast. Read what I said about these other comments. Okay. Take a screenshots if you need. Okay, we're gonna look at Chairman Mao next. Chairman Tao. Sorry. Is this a stock? No, it's a crypto.
Yeah, it's a crypto. It's the 41st largest crypto. PEPE is 36.
Oh, wow.
Just to let you know. So these are pretty large cryptos. Tao's large. PEPE's large.
Is it this one, the $389 one?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. A little clue about what's happening. I'm just going to let you guys know. Look at the foundational area. We could draw straight. The support's holding. But also, I need to guys let you know, based on this curvature, another way we can draw the foundational area is a large flat approximate here. I'm going to draw both for your reference. Okay? Don't say it never did anything nice for you. Did I draw that right? Okay, I'm going to draw both. Let's see where we got. Core, wick. Alright. So that's one. And I'm going to draw the other option for us, which is much, much lower. And it's just going to level out there. So we will... Is this your request, Armin?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's mine.
All right, let's see.
My son likes it. I don't know why, but he's been into it quite a bit. Pretty heavy in it.
We hit an area two or three times, and we may actually get another health on this. Since we have an old flat, we're going to be looking at a flat as well, but we're also going to be looking at the straight that's going to be down. If we can connect all of this, it will be a down. Now this one we don't have. We got it. Yeah, okay. This one then can be viewed. This can be viewed as an area of health then. So yeah, I'm going to do it like this. We may be looking at parabolic, which should give us some problems in this area, but overall it's still in health. All right, so I'm going to draw both the flat at the top, which will be a nice addition to this map, and be looking overall at this area being a positive area. Okay, so two positive areas. 749 would be a nice, $704 to 49, so 749 would be a good breakout. All right, let's go a little bit further and draw the flat as an oscillating key angle. So here's our key angle, and then our be our phantom on the bottom, and we have some verification when price hits and build in this area. But let's stretch it out to more an appropriate area. I think we're going to put it on the wick side, because that's where the cores are matching. So here would probably be more appropriate. We're not in a weakness. And I'm going to look at the volume now. From area A to area B in large. If the area on B is larger in volume, then it means we generally need to be coming back here. We can say we did come back here with the wick that happened in the flash crash just this past weekend. It was a universal across the board. Most of those cryptos were revealing. Alright, and here's what I found. The volume at these areas, by and far, was trending the right direction in signs of absorption taking place. Absorption / control. It was. We're going towards absorption, okay, or trending. We challenged again, and look at the volume that came out of the woodworks, the supply. A lot of traders were willing to trade at this price. That means that, and I'm just going to be blunt, all right, guys? Forgive me, I'm going to be real blunt. When you have stop orders, I've heard professional traders call the masses lemmings and morons. I heard them call that. I saw the secret interview that was leaked by that one guy. He's the counter indicator. What's his name? The Kramer guy, right? He was calling people morons. I've seen professionals make fun of the stop losses, because basically when you place a stop loss, you need to understand the banks and the exchanges can see your data, and those who can see these can see the orders in real time. With crypto, it's even more, because you can actually see the order blocks in place. But in the stock market, it was often hidden unless you had level 2 or level 3 data, which generally only the banks had those data, or accredited investors, which means you have to have over $250,000 just to have seen that type of data back in the day. I don't know if it's still like that, but in other words, your major stops are all showed. Your stop is your agreement. You're saying, you know what? I really want this to go high, but if it comes to $1, I'll sell it to you. Now, that looks really juicy, appetizing for a large trader who's saying, hey, I want to buy your house. And you can say to him, you can buy my house for $100,000. But if you offer me $1, I'll give it to you for $1. You see how absurd that sounds? You say, that doesn't happen in the market. It does. You can say, I want $389 for this, but I have a stop loss at 190, which means if the price were to ever be driven down to 190, I'll sell it to you for $190. I was thinking about all of this past weekend. This past week, I was thinking what I was going to say if this topic came up. And this is one of those things that it really is as simple as that. It sounds funny, but it's true. If you place big orders for your stop losses, they can shake you out simply by causing a down move in the market. And those are often sometimes fake out shakeouts. Sometimes the market needs to gravitate to those areas, but they're called test and rising markets and trust and falling markets, as other volume spread analysis teachers would teach. And in this case, they test the market by bringing it down. They can shake out all the traders, and all the supply means that much money, that's activity. That's how much trading was done. Buying or selling, that's up for interpretation based on what we review in the volume. But it told us that all of this was trading and exchanging hands, which means so much money, off the chart money, was being traded. We haven't traded like that since we were in this down move and buying first came in, which we're going to talk about before we go on to the next crypto. But you need to understand, they were gobbling up here prices. We came down, came right back up to that area, and we moved into health. So there's a lot of people willing to part with their crypto at 190, even if they wanted higher prices. They got stopped out. I think this has shaked out a lot of people. The next week, this week right here, that is 1 day. Yeah, this is a weekly chart. This week, we can see that price has moved up, and we're still in a positive area on even higher volume. I think this is part of the push to drive prices higher. It is very easy to see that the volume here is very much akin to here. It is possible we may even see another shakeout yet because the volume was so high at that challenge. I think since we're gravitating here, there's not a super incentive here, but if they're ever presented with an opportunity for another shakeout like this, it's possible because there's still a lot of traders that were willing to part. They'd want to bring it down here, ideally to see if there's absorption and then the move proper to take place. If this moves into weakness, I'm almost sure we're going to get back to here, and then we want to see low volume. Again, like the first ones, we want to see it lower than this. We want to see it very aggregately low. We want to see it no demand. We want to see low demand for that, which means that A, B, and C need to be lower. But right now, this strong increase told us there's too much trading here. Look for us to be volatile in this sense. So this is where things get a little bit dangerous. So this one I'm going to be a bit iffy because there's incentive to bring it down because of that, and there's incentive to bring it up because of the possible push that is happening. I'm going to put both of my commentary on the board. For right now, I'm just going to say I think this is going to do well, and I'll tell you why I think it's going to do well. Here is your down move. There's your down move. Look at the volume rising, but the move is into health and up. So therefore, what is happening in this volume here? Professional buying coming in. So the professional buyers that came in that area challenged again, and they absorbed most of the supply. That's why I wrote the supply absorption. So the buyers are coming in, but the buyers aren't done playing with everybody here at this moment. It's very possible they're not done because of the amount of supply that came out of the woodwork. If you tell me, hey, you'll sell me a house and you'll sell me 100 houses at $1, I'm going to be like, ooh, I don't need the price of homes to go up right now. I just want them to stay low so I can buy as many as I want for $1. That's the game of that's the auction game that happens in the supply and demand with the markets. As long as people are willing to trade at those areas, the big players, they don't need the crypto to go up right away. In fact, many times when they're launching campaigns, they want it low and as low as possible for as long as possible. They play the long game. Once, like Monopoly, they buy up all the supply, prices can rise. In this case right now, this is a good spot for it to be, but at the same time, all the supply is not done. I think what's really going to happen is we're going to oscillate in this area, and that's going to be about my final thoughts. I think we're going to only play about here. I think we're going to see a lack of profit taking somewhere back up there, and then we're going to see it driving down. If I'm in a trade, I probably only want to be bullish to about right there. The numbers are 380. Current price is 389 to about 750. After that, I want to be careful waiting for a breakout with so much people still willing to trade in this area. So I probably will be looking to come back down. I can't make that prediction because we need to see resistance at this area, but I'm going to say from here to here is more secure, not as secure. Now, why am I saying, Jason, this is a positive area? Yes, but the smaller flat is still in play, and that's something that can be, especially in a bearish market. So I want to be really careful with this one right now. All right, I'll put my comments in the notes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just a lesson I think we learned on this during this last flash crash. When you put in a stop loss, you may say, I want to sell it. It's 100. It goes down to 100. But the flash is so fast that you didn't sell it 100. You sold it 25. And insane, but there's no guarantee at what price. It's the market price, and it just dipped so fast. So I would shy away from any trading stop loss.
Yep. And that's what I prefer. A lot of you guys who do that, I've heard some interviews, as contrary as it sounds, I've heard a lot of interviews from successful millionaire traders that don't trade with stop losses, but they trade with an extreme discipline to get out and cut their losses early. If you have not mastered cutting your losses early when you see the crypto going against you and you can't get out, then you're too emotional or you're over trading. You can say, I'm not over trading, I'm still only $100. Depending on if you cannot emotionally sever yourself from those small trades, you're over trading for that position. The Bible says invest in 7 ventures, for you do not know what will befall the land. Oh, but we know prophetic is going to go, but you don't know the exact timing. Even if there's prophetic words, which there's a lot, right? I've seen prophetic things. I know there's a big crash coming in the market, but it doesn't mean it's now. That could be far off into the future. The prophets in the Bible saw things that were very far into the future. Some of them were in their lifetime, some were after their lifetime. We need to understand the timings and the seasons, and when it comes to the context of trading, if you can't cut your loss, then you probably should be trading with stop losses if you cannot exit a position when you probably should, or know where you should. October 18th, Tau. This crypto has signs of health and professional accumulation. Oh my gosh. However, only low demand has occurred / aggregately low. Okay, which means overall low. At 704 to 749. Blue line. This means, oh yes, and in addition, the most recent challenge there resulted in more supply appearing, a lot more. This week may also be a push into health. Therefore, I am not fully bullish. I also see resistance at 197, 185. Ideally, I expect prices to reach 704 to 749. All right, let me read what I got. Tau. This crypto has signs of health appearing and professional accumulation. How? Right here. And I'll make sure I draw an arrow so you guys can see. Professional accumulation. Low demand / aggregately low. Praise God for that. This crypto has signs of professional accumulation. However, only low demand has occurred / aggregately low at the 197.9, which is that blue line. In addition, the most recent challenge here resulted in more supply appearing. See, more supply at the challenge at that 197 area. This week may also be a push into health, which may be a push right here. Therefore, I'm not fully bullish. I also see resistance at 476 area. Ideally, expect prices to reach 704, 749, but to oscillate in between. Okay? But to also oscillate, that means come down or move up in between. Okay? In between the blue lines over time. This is a weekly chart view. Okay. Okay, that means that over the next year, it's possible we can play in here. So I'm not going to be super bullish. This crypto, even though I like where we're at, I don't trust where we're at. All right? All right. Okay, anyone else have any other questions for me regarding Tau neutral to bullish? B2F is a stock we looked at not so long ago. Let's take a look where we're at. Oh, wait, we looked at B2. But this is B2F? Is this Jeff? Jeff, are you there, my friend? Jeff, I only got B2C, 4WXSI, 8K. I don't UOJ. I don't seem to have F. I'm sorry. Okay. Camino was looking Tau. Camino, did you want to share some of your findings? Maybe you have some insight on what do you think? I'm conflicted right now about it.
No, not much to say about it. It caught my eye last night because I thought it was in good structure. I just pretty much drew the same thing you did. Came to the same conclusion. It's on my radar. I didn't buy any, but it's on my radar.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at FETCH.AI. All right. Looking for a health to appear above this track. It's a dynamic negative number, which means we were looking for 1.5 all the way down to 126 and further down. When we see it, when I say dynamic negative, that means that the track goes down with time. All right. Now it's going to go all the way down until we come in health, and all we can do is keep extending that line. If you want to, just keep extending it using the foundational area. Otherwise, just duplicate your line. You're saying, I don't want to mess up my lines because I tried so hard. Just duplicate them and then bring the duplicate and line it up. Those are one ways that you guys can do that. Okay, so I'm going to bring it about right there. We have no health that's triggered in this crypto, right? So the next one will probably be about where these going to meet, and that's into March of 2027. So we still got a long way to go before there could be, or before there has to be, some kind of sign of health. Otherwise, we're going to phase into weakness. Now the next weakness, I'll borrow this one up here. The next weakness is when we start phasing below these areas. Now we got to figure out, can we trust this upper line? I have a weekly chart key angle about here. We have a foundational area here, and we hit it here, so I have 3 points. That's going to be our key angle. In our art, we duplicate our key angle and we bring it down to the lower side, or the lowest energy center in the area. It's here, so we would ideally want to place it somewhere there or close to the bottom, and view moves into this area as a sign of weakness. So we're going to be looking for cryptos to move down lower once we fulfill that type of thing. Now here's the marker I gave for you guys just a few moments ago. It's going to be this one somewhere down here. So we're going to use that to our advantage, and we can also calculate the approximate prices below those areas here to trigger a short. Right now there's no shorts that are triggered. All right, let's see how what we're going to be doing. I want to look at this as a top. Let's pull up our RSI. Okay, this is going to be possibly the top forming, and then our next top would be, let's go down to a daily chart. We might be able to catch it. Yep, this last move was a top in our RSI price space. I don't want to go too much into that because we've been saving that for it primarily for Wednesdays. But this is our last top here on RSI price space. So our last top should trigger in these areas, and that's going to be this move here. So this move right here would trigger based on the RSI price base here. Okay, so this top tells us this is also a top. And the top that's forming here is round structure into weakness. I'm going to be bearish. Anyone have any other larger questions for me on this? Okay, that was from December 2024. So I'm going to be looking at this as a bearish area. Okay, there's our price-based marker. I don't know if we have signs that we're going to be building up now. I'm probably going to be looking to get to this low, and that's going to be now underneath this area. So I'm going to be looking to be bearish, more bearish. Okay. So look for me to play between 19 cents, 17 cents, below 25. So I'm going to be looking to play in that area. All right. Anyone else for me? First weakness, second weakness. The third weakness should get us down lower. It's going to be underneath the flat, underneath 19 cents. And then we're going to be looking to come to the next flat. It's going to be somewhere, I would say the average is going to be there, where the phantom is based on this one. So I'll put my stars there. That's what I can see in the data. 6 cents, 5.6 average. All right. So this one, which is happening now, this one is important. This one is important. Right now, based on my data, we're probably going to be hitting that. So I'll put my prediction there in square. Breakouts need to be above here. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Those are my 3 important places. 1, 2, 3. Questions, FETCH.AI. Don't look at me like that, house. Don't look at me like that, house. Okay, you can look at me like that. Nobody thought I'd wear short shorts, huh? Just kidding. Am I just kidding? Bearish current, bearish down towards 0.028. See, now I'm making you think. Don't think about me wearing shorts, guys. Don't do it. It's not a pretty picture. TOA. Okay, we look at Tau already? We did look at Tau. I wrote it twice. All right, we're gonna look at HOPPY, and then I'm gonna do a recap with proof. You guys can review my comments while I pull up HOPPY. Okay. Strong professional buying starting to occur on this down move, approximately these prices here. We challenge again, low demand, but we said, I think it was on the daily chart, yeah, the daily chart, you can see there's almost hidden mechanical, and I wrote this word, mechanical accumulation. The volume is just basically flatlining. Was it on this exchange at the time? Oh no, that was the one I needed to change because we were looking at it on regular. I never fixed that. I needed to delete that one. There was a day when we were looking at the volume and we looked at it like this, and I'll show you guys, and it looked like that. So I needed to fix that. This one's not mechanical. Okay. All right, there we go. More professional supply coming in this area. The volume from areas A to area B still equal in volume, so we don't have a complete supply absorption, and it is very flat. It is still flat, but I'm not going to say, yeah, I think maybe that's why I put the word almost. Okay, I see what I'm doing here. All right, so I'll keep that word almost. That was a day when we messed it up and we were looking at the volume. A, B, C. A is equal to C. Absorption not complete, and the symbol I gave you is this one. Come on the next down move, I still see that very flat volume. That's interesting. It's the same as this last time. We move into weakness, which is underneath here. Let's check to see if we got it on pushing volume, high volume into this area. That's a negative. Okay, so this crypto, we're going to need another health. We need the breakout. The breakout has not triggered. It's going to be above here somewhere. And that's going to tell us when we're safe to get it. It's going to be moving this number down the track. It's going to be somewhere here now at that number, 000020. So I'm not safe to get this crypto, HOPPY, yet. I like it, but it's not safe at the moment, and revealing a sign of weakness. So let's figure out where our next supports are. I'm gonna add that as my first of my main comments. HOPPY. HOPPY has signs of professional accumulation, also signs of possible flat mechanical accumulation, usually algorithmic, type of manipulation. I don't like that type if I can help it. Price has moved into weakness. Okay, so far we're going to be looking for some lower prices. And then we need our next health, which is somewhere above here. This area, that's the big one here. Okay, so that's nice. But we don't have it yet. Now we're going to be focusing on something else. What happened to my chart? Okay, there we go. Yeah. So we still need to stretch that out, encompassing all the down moves. This move comes, the health moves down the track. No health triggered, only the weakness. The number, that dynamic number, comes down the track. That's why we call it a dynamic negative. Right now, the weakness occurred already at that price, 4013, and the health needed to be above 4016 for us to buy it. We don't got it, a buy trigger. We don't have a, now we're at a low, but we now moved into weakness. We moved up. I think this is a bad spot for this crypto. Let's take a look at the last angle. It's about here. So we're going to be actually looking, since we're in this next territory, to come down to here. We don't need to focus on a DP at the moment in this area, so we don't need to actually get above there. We'll keep those on the board, but right now they're not in play. I think what's going to happen, I need to show you guys where the weakness is at. Okay, I think what's going to happen is we're going to see prices fall, and I'll show you the next support. It's down there. So in my opinion, we're probably going to be going lower, and then we're going to look for the next bout of possible buying. We also need to be aware of up moves with dumping. So that means we want to be, if you see higher moves up but high volume on the underside, why now? Why not here at these levels? That's what we're going to see. So if you see some high volume when we're at these same prices, something's very wrong. So like we've been here before in the blue area. If we come up now to the blue area again, be careful, guys. Be very careful. That's going to be signs that they're going to dump it. If they know that they can do their same campaign and buy double the crypto at a cheaper price, they're going to do it. All right. They're going to do it. I can guarantee you. So they're already buying, but if they know that it's hard for them to sustain it up, let them bring it down. You're going to see more accumulation at the lower areas. You'll see the high volume come back in at the bottom. That's where you ideally want to see. Okay, you also want to see high volume as we cross over this line. That would indicate a push and ready to go. Those are signs. But right now, I would say look for the moves back up to here on high volume. If you do, you're going down. And I'll put that also in my notes. Where's my notes? No. All right, back in August, this means price breaks above 0.0026. We don't got that. On purpose accumulation campaign. Looks higher prices. Okay, we don't need that right now. We can see that due to negative pushing in this area, the accumulators are not ready. Look for no demand, not ready. Okay, that's what we just talked about right now. Where's my notes? I had notes on here. Didn't I just have notes on here? Did I do them on a picture? Did I lose it? What in the world? What the heck? What the hey? What the who? I'll do that again. Professional accumulation came in. Absorption not complete. Mechanical not complete. And that was from August. From August. Mechanical buying coming in. Price moves into weakness. In my opinion, it needs to fall towards support near 0.000067. Breakouts still need to be above the yellow line at 0.000. 0.016 in yellow. If you see a move up towards 0.000013 on high volume on the up bars or up move, look at this as very bearish. This is dumping after the fact. If you see a move above 0.000016 with closes on high volume, this may be a bullish push. As it is, I am bearish. All right, that's all my thoughts regarding that crypto. Hoppy needs to come down a bit, cook a little bit longer, and I'll put that word in here. I like this crypto. It should do well. It needs to cook longer. Okay, it needs to cook longer. All right, take a screenshot. Last crypto coming up. I'm going to draw it. This is a negative area, and this is a bullish area. Those are the two areas that I'm most concerned about. Right here and right here. Those two numbers, okay? That one and that one. This is the third area number. I think we're getting there. I would like to short Hoppy down a bit, possibly. I would want to look at it more on a 1 hour, 12-hour chart, things like that. Yep. I'm probably gonna I don't know if I short it right now. I want it to come up higher. But yeah, I want it to come up higher. But I might be looking to short that. I'm gonna look at that on probably Monday. Remind me to look at Hoppy again on Monday morning at 5 a.m. Okay, good. I set a little reminder on Siri. Short-term bullish, mid-term bearish, long-term bullish. Okay. All right, the last crypto for today is a crypto that I told you there might be some possible shorts appearing on this crypto, and this is what we found over the weekend. Okay, it's a crypto called Prove, and the structure for this crypto is, for me, bearish. Here's a look at the 12-hour. Here's a look at the previous 12-hour RSI price base. We identified the previous top as our origin point in September 14th, 2025. And when we hit that top, we triggered again the top around these days. And this is when price started forming a top. After we examine that structure, there's a few ways we can examine the structure. One of the ways we can examine the structure is in its entirety, and this is going to be this move here. And I didn't discuss this move here because if we do have these structures, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then we can see price phasing into that weakness over the last few 12-hour sessions. But we have this jutting out section here. Does anybody remember from Sword Method 5.0 how we deal with this jutting out section here and how it should reflect and tell us what's going to happen with price next? If we have an established structure that we can verify and we can see it and price moves in that structure, yet we have this exception to the rule, how do we deal with that? Does anybody remember? Starts with an H. We have a whole lesson for this on how to deal with it. It's quite simple and it's very effective. Does anybody remember?
Is that the hidden battler?
Yeah, that's right. Good job. Good job, Michelle. Good job, Alex. Good. Yeah, hidden battler. Hidden battler rule tells us that those issues that are the exception to the rule often have to be dealt with. And they have to be dealt with in two places. One of the layers that they have to be dealt with is the two hidden battler areas, and that's going to be HB1 and HB2. HB1 is approximately the moment when we cross over into that negative section, and the other is about the core. I generally, with hidden battler, don't concern myself with the wicks. I try to get the core. Now, if you're saying if you have multiple cores, you can use core cluster technique to identify where the root of the core is, and there's a separate lesson for core cluster. But for this 12-hour chart, we're just going to assume it's down here, and since the entire oscillation is this angle here, the key angle, as the key angle, the phantom, when we duplicate that angle and bring it straight down to those areas, should be in the from the lowest areas somewhere around here anyway. So right now, right about there. So right now, these two areas are basically matching that there should be some supports here based on HB2. We could identify that in this chart, which we're going to do approximately right now, by just drawing a rectangle in the general area where the core is, and the core is going to be about right there, right? So we're going to say, and give this a label. I usually use light blue when I do this, and I'm going to call this HB2, and I'm going to put it at the left side. Okay, so HB2, and I'm going to give it a price, 0.58 to 0.56, and I'm going to tell you what this means for me in just a few moments. Okay, so right now this is an area I definitely want to keep my eye on. I've already been looking at this as a short down to 59 cents, but now because the hidden battler is here, I think I'm actually going to take a little bit more risk by reaching out for the hidden battler, not all the way down to the low 56, but maybe to the 58. So I'm currently in the short right now. This is a short I'm taking this week. I think I'm going to bring my target from 59. Generally, I like to have it one above where I have it. So right now it's 59. The high 59s is where I have mine. I'm going to now move mine to a little bit lower to about 58.1, maybe 58.3. So I'm going to push it a little bit today. Now, the other area we need to be dealing with our hidden battlers, HB number 1. And so HB number 1, which we just mentioned right now, would be up there where we close. It's in these areas we like to see what price is doing. What is price maybe possibly doing after that weakness appears here in this area? What is price possibly doing right now for that line? Can you guys tell me?
Sitting on top of it?
Sitting on top of that. That's right. You can see it spiking here. You can see it trying to hold on into this area. So when you see that happening, you can use the HBs as another sign of weakness or support. It's a type of hidden support, and I call it hidden battler because it's something you have to deal with. It has to battle through that area. As it's battling, you can see the next sign of weakness would appear when we get closes below here approximately, or even structure, which is even more important. And in any case, the HB2 is going to be approximately at 78. So I'm going to put the word HB2 at 78 cents. And what have we seen since the original trade was triggering, or since we first talked about that trade possibly triggering on a 3-hour chart since, what's this, today Saturday? So that was Wednesday, right? I told you guys I was going to do that short. We can see that price has been fighting at 78. So all of this is natural. This is very natural what's supposed to happen at 78. All right, let's talk about what, so that's something that we have on the board here. Now, here's what I said. We were looking at this on a 6-hour chart, and I'll go to the next 6-hour chart, and then I'll read you my comments from the other day. I said, weakness on this 6-hour chart should trigger an entry to short this crypto here, providing that the resistance at 88 holds. All right, this trade has not yet triggered as of October 15th at 2 a.m., so during that class on Wednesday. This has a maximum time of until October 19th before we need to phase through into weakness or move into health. And what we were doing on that 6-hour chart is we were drawing a line that looked like something like this, and that was based on the upward parabolic. So we were looking at this area as a top, which we're going to talk about in just a moment, and I was looking to phase into this area. If it doesn't phase until the 19th, which is about right here, then that means that price is either going to move up or it's going to move into that weakness one way or the other. But this short, based on that angle, should trigger by the 19th as a maximum time. Otherwise, we need to have another reason to get in for the crypto. In this case, we already triggered that move, so we already just moved into that area. So once we're here, for me, the trade is on to the downside. Why the downside? Few simple reasons. Number one, we're in a downtrend, so we want to only hunt up moves. In a uptrend, in a downtrend, it's quite simple. Hunt your up moves, take your trades at your weakness, and you can find those up moves. When you see them, your stats or your likelihood of moving down become greatly increased because you're trading with the trend. You're not doing anything abnormal. Prices oscillating also in between this area. So close to that area, even if you're just raising your entries a little higher, you still are looking somewhere. Even if you didn't draw it like me, you're still looking somewhere down here, which gives us a good profit if we can walk away with it. We need to be looking to be bullish once we're building above those areas. There was another crypto we were looking at on that day. I think it was called Goated, and there was a possible short for Goated. Goated had another parabolic, but we're also looking for prices to build above here. Let's pull that up real quick so you guys can see it. Of Goated, we didn't get the trigger to the short triggered. Instead, Goated moved into the positive area. So the short for Goated was not triggered. The short would be underneath there. You can see that Goated building above here is a positive close. Now, ideally, if we don't have professional accumulation in the background, with the volume, you want to see it happen. You want to see a few other things happen. You want to see pushing volume. You want to see high volume on the down moves so that those things can be sustained. You want to see lack of profit taking at the high. In this case, we don't see much profit taking, but we do see some tops approximately here. In other words, we can see that price is building on those old tops. So this is actually a good crypto that would look more bullish in this case because we're in the bullish zone. That makes sense so far? So this is just a short 6-hour chart. Same parabolics, you just need to be aware of your zones where you're in. So short, not triggered, positive, triggered, now we're round structure. So if you're bullish, now I don't like, in a bearish market, I don't like taking bullish. In a bearish market, I don't like taking bullish trades unless I have a reason. In a bearish market, I like to take short trades because they're going to generally last longer and be more accurate. So that's why I would, even though Goated right now is in a positive spot, I would probably prefer a crypto that's more like shorting. Today we found a few cryptos that were possibly on the short list. So this crypto, we would be looking for it to move into weakness here. We can delete some of these others. The other reasons I want to be looking at the weakness is because of the RSI price base, which we've been discussing from our tutorials on Wednesday. Here's now a look at our 12-hour on the price base. We can see that here should be a top. So our next top should be forming in this area. The parabolic should be giving us a top in this area. And the weaknesses are telling us, hey, a top's forming. All of these are making a case for me that we should be moving down. Okay, should be moving down. Let's look at the volume. We want to see if there's profit taking at the top areas, which means there's going to be some high volume near the tops. We don't want it to be super ultra high, but near these tops, we want to see those up bars like this, and we want to see that in the underside of the weakness. So now that we're in this weakness territory here, right there, now that we're in this weakness area, we can see that the tops have higher volume on the up bar. So this is signs that's a good thing that there may be selling. The other thing we want to see is of those bars, we want to see that trending down, because even though there's profit takers, we want to see the profit takers winning. If their volume keeps rising at the challenge, but the volume's rising as well, then that means even if they're sellers, they're losing. In this case, the sellers are winning. So I'm feeling more comfortable with a trade and these type of odds. Now again, you can never guarantee everything in the market, but you can only stack the odds in your favor. But as it is, the more that we drift without going up into the healthy area above the 88 cents number, which is there, that number is just going to continue. Moving down the side here is still about 88 cents. So as long as we're not here, I'm still bullish. Even if we are bullish, I might give myself a bit of a buffer room up to 110 cents because that's where the target is. The low side of the target is 102, and we have a low target to the bottom. No, we don't have any low targets to the bottom. So if price goes up, we need to understand there's a roof there. I like that within the downtrend. That's going to be something that's going to be a little bit more warm and fuzzy. Finally, I have one more weakness for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. Here, what we're going to do is, of this area, you can see that it's parabolic, right? What happens if we extend this parabolic? If we extend the parabolic and fix the curvature, it should be about right there, we can see that this area is still part of this weakness. So in addition, we got weakness based on here, and then I'm going to show you that 3-hour chart before we're done. Okay, weakness based on here, weakness based on here, which is this one that I faded away from the 3-hour chart one. And then another weakness may be down here, but we don't have that one at all. It's not on the board yet. I don't think it's going to get hit. These tops that are forming here based on RSI price base, based on the parabolic, based on this top, based on the weakness, tells me, hey, we should be going down. It makes it very difficult for the buyers to win, even if there was buyers. Let's put all of that into a case, and I'm going to write this down in my text so you guys can all have it. October 18th, and I hope this makes money for some of you guys if you are also shorting this crypto. October 18th. Prove. This crypto has phased more into weakness. Has phased into weakness. The entry has triggered on the 3-hour charts, and now also on the 12-hour charts. Although nothing can ever be guaranteed, the goal is to stack odds in our favor. We have an RSI top underneath 88 cents. That's number one. We have a parabolic top at 88 cents. We have another parabolic old support hitting the top at 0.88 cents area, where price rounded, and it's round action, right? Round action under that, okay? Round, where price rounded into weakness. We also have price moving up on a parabolic into that same weakness. Okay, so that's a part of it. So we're rounding up into the weakness, but we're also rounding up on its own curve, on its own same weakness, with a smaller 3-hour and what is this, a 12-hour and 3-hour, 12-hour foundational parabolic. The trend is down. HB, so I don't know how many reasons that is. HB1 is acting like a roof. Because of all these reasons, I am shorting this crypto this week. My entry prices were 70, I think there were 78, maybe 77, or 78 area. All right, so all of that's where my entry is. It's somewhere on here when we got into the weakness. Take a screenshot if you want to know. The money that's on the table for this crypto is not so much, but now we're looking, I'm going to be looking to get from current prices, which is right now 78 something. So I'll just use 78. I'm looking to get 36%, 37%. Okay, I'm trading this in the futures at a leverage of 2, not 10 or anything like crazy, just 2. Okay, that's how I'm trading. Does anybody have any questions before I show the 3-hour chart on here? I don't have much more to share about this crypto. The move, that's what I'm expecting. And I'm going to put my little target because that's what I'm looking to get to. If I see price building here too much, I'll just cut my loss. Or my gain. I'll cut my gain. But basically, I'm looking to reverse in here. I'm not looking for this to trigger, but that's a possibility. Okay. Bullishness starts here and here. We got an extra roof, so I'm not making sure my stops are going to be above here, or I cut my losses above here. Here's where I'm going to take a loss. I'll lose about, what, 40 cents? If that's the case. But you can only trade based on your odds. So right now the odds are this is going to hold, in my opinion. Okay. Cannot guarantee them all, of course. Anybody have any other questions? My thoughts regarding this crypto short that I'm doing, my friends? Okay, take a screenshot now so you guys can see if you want to follow along with me. That's what I'm doing. I don't always follow along with everything. All those reasons give me reasons. Okay, I'll draw them on my this next chart, and then I'll go show you that 3 hour, and that's to show you my entry. All right, my friends. Thank you for praying for me. Pray I feel better, my friends. Pray I feel better. Okay, weakness. Weakness. HB. Weakness. Oh no. The HB is not on top right now. It's on bottom. Oops, I shouldn't say that one. I need to write that. HB one is not acting like a roof. Not yet. Okay. It's acting like a support. Alright. Here's the 3 hour chart. Here was my original trade. Okay. We moved into weakness. Somewhere around here at 78 is when I got in. Okay. Then we round up. I'm in negative for a little bit. Oh no, we first moved down, came all the way down to 72, came up to 82, came down to 72, came back up to 82, and that's where we'll continue playing. All right. Anyone else? Based on the event line, we have an angle about right here, this angle, and I duplicated that angle here, and you can see prices phasing into this next weaknesses on this 3 hour chart. We also had the target I gave you guys earlier. I stretched mine down for a margin of error, but I left the original one up. It's there. That's when my alert was triggered, and that's where I took the trade underneath that area. So anything under here, I'm okay paying. That's how I feel like. The next parabolic that might be forming, I'm going to give it to you live. It's going to be based on this support. The next trigger should be a flat. So I'm going to draw the next flat for you. It should be a leveled out parabolic underneath there. I will make this yellow, and I'll give you the next weakness. It's under there. Here's the price. If you're going to wait for the next confirmation, 72 cents. Pay underneath, pay underneath 73.7, and then you can take the remaining trade to the bottom. All right, minimize your risk. The other places you can pay at the high at 88 cents. The volume's increasing at the challenge area at the bottom, so that's still good signs we should be coming back down. All right, since I don't have any other questions, I'm going to assume that you guys got it. All right. Father, bless our community. I thank you, Lord, for our word room today, and I pray that you would bless our marriages, Lord, and I pray that you would bless all the relationships we have. Lord, I thank you for the dreams that you give us. Lord, help us not to be a dead and sleeping church. Let us not be a dead and sleeping body of Christ. Let us be found praying. And even in times when we are at conferences or when we are at local churches, let us not be asleep. When we're having the body of Christ meeting in homes where the first churches were always at, we were not asleep, we were awake, and we were alive. But there was a time in Revelations when you told us to strengthen what we had, lest it be taken away. Lord, let us strengthen what we have. Let us not be a people that would be asleep at the wheel when you are trying to do things in the land, when you are trying to get us to pray, when you are trying to get us to pray strong. Lord, let us be found in prayer, often in prayer. Forgive us our great and many wicked ways. Forgive us our great and many sins. For you said if we are faithful to confess our sins, that you are faithful to forgive us our sins. Lord, we want to be people that are found praying and found worshiping and found in your spirit. I thank you, Lord, for all the things. Let us be people who are alive. And thank you, Lord, and take us to where we need to go, Lord. I pray that you would pick us up, Lord, and take us to the next areas of our lives. Give us and reveal to us all manner of secrets, all manner of wisdom, all manner of things that whatsoever we put our hand to, so that it may prosper. We love you. We thank you for all that you're going to do, all that you're doing in our land and in these seasons and these days. I pray that you'll reveal to me if there's a mystery, Lord, the mystery of October 26th. Why was I praising you for that day earlier in the month? I pray that you would reveal it to us and to our community. Show them in visions and dreams. And heal my body, Lord, from whatever is afflicting me. Lord, in Jesus' name, I pray that you'd heal me. We love you. Amen. I love you, my friends. Have a great day.